first name, last name, and your title.
Okay. My name is Larry, middle initial A, last name Vines, and I am a conflict resolution mediation specialist working at one of the schools in Shelby County.
Which school is that?
And that's Oak Mountain Middle School. Been there 16 years.
Okay.
And now prior to that, I was a principal in Jefferson County and retired after 32 years. I've had a total of 49 years in the business of working with kids in education.
Okay. Total 49.
Right.
You said 33 years? Has
30.
To be 33.
Yeah, 33.
Principal at Jefferson County.
Right.
Okay. So first off, let's talk about which direction you want to talk about first. You say your background.
We gave it. Did you want me to go back over my educational background, or do you want to just get into the book?
Let's just go ahead and get into the book. Just
because you have that information about the educational background in a number of years, you can tie that in.
Yeah, and you have a website.
Yes, I have a website.
So
okay, you can. That's on the website too.
Okay. So let's talk about, you have this plan of stopping bullying in schools. Let's talk about what your plan is and how it's described in your book.
Okay, what we've got is a small book. We've added a few additional updates that are also found on the website that someone might want to go to and pick up on. But one of the things that we do with our mediation process, and it is called a mediation process, is that if a student feels that they have been or being bullied in our school environment, and this would be true in any school's environment, they need to have someone that they know they can go to that will trust them, and they can actually deal with and openly, honestly explain the problem. I'm one of those people in my school. We also have counselors, and we have some good teachers. But many of those cases are referred to me because most of the faculty and the staff understand that that's a specialty that I've developed. If you wanted me to explain the process, of course it's in the book, but let me give you some highlights of the process. Students oftentimes are afraid to tell someone that they're being bullied. And they're afraid because of retaliation of the person that's doing the bullying to them. They're afraid that it might make it worse. And oftentimes they don't go home and tell their parents because of the same reason. They think the parents will call the school, and the school will get involved, and the disciplinary action that's involved at the school will make it actually worse for the child that's being bullied. So here's what we have done that seems to work remarkably well. And this is an example. A student comes to me and in tears, oftentimes crying, and said, I can't deal with it anymore. I don't want to come to school. I can't sleep at night. I play like I'm sick in the morning so I don't have to get on the bus or go to school with my parents. And I can't really explain to them the reason why I don't want to go to school, but in talking with me as an example, they do describe that they are being bullied, and sometimes it's very, very serious, to the extent that the child is considering doing some very serious damage to themselves. So what we do is we bring the student that has been being bullied in and talk with them for a few minutes to get their confidence and let them get to a point where they trust us. And it doesn't just have to be me. It can be any good, concerned counselor or teacher that will listen to a child because they have that rapport with the student. But in my case, it's me. And then what we do is call the bullies in, and oftentimes it's more than one. And we call this the mediation process. What happens in the mediation process is it's clearly understood that both the person being bullied and the person who is doing the bullying, they have to agree that they want to go through this mediation process. The mediation process does not require disciplinary action. Disciplinary action removes the fear of the child that's being bullied from telling on that child. Because that child, once they are called in and talked to, they realize this incident is going to be recorded and going to be filed, but no disciplinary action is going to be taken this first time. Now, if it's a continuation later, yes, code of conduct will require that there be disciplinary action taken. So that opens the door for free discussion about the problem. And what happens many times is the student that's being bullied looks at the student that is bullying her or him, or more than one of the bullies, because oftentimes it is more than one, and they tell them exactly how they feel about what's being said about them or what's being done. You know, it's physical bullying, it's verbal bullying, it's cyber bullying, it's relational bullying where you got 4 or 5 people in a group and they decide they don't want someone in that group, and so they start talking about them to get them out of the group. So those kinds of bullying are the issues that we take care of. But when the child sits there and faces the bully and says, look, I cry every night. I can't concentrate on my schoolwork. I'm afraid to get on the school bus. I have problems even thinking about coming to school, to the extent that I fake illnesses, and you hurt me so much that I don't even want to be in the halls because I don't know when it's going to happen again. And so on the basis of that, that person that has been being bullied looks directly with eye contact to the bullies or the bully. And often this is what will happen. If we're not for a privacy issue, I'd love for you to come see one, but we have the privacy concerns and we're not able to do that. So you'll have to just take my word that over 70% of these responses are the person or people that are doing the bullying start crying. And they'll say things like, my God, I just did not know that I was doing that to you. I was just playing. I was just having fun. I had no clue that it was doing this kind of stuff to you. I am so sorry. And let me go back and reiterate, often it is the person that's doing the bullying that starts crying, and then they'll scream, and then they'll express, God, please forgive me. I did not know that it was that hurting to you. I had no clue that we were doing this kind of stuff to you. Please forgive me. And then the person that's been bullied has to accept the apology. And then what you really have happening here is a relationship communication that has just been opened. In other words, there is a different level of understanding and communication between the 2 or 4 or whatever it is, meaning that after they leave there and they have written up all of this stuff that's happened and we file it, they leave there actually closer friends and a better relationship with each other than they had before, because there has been some gut level, 5-level communication that said, you really hurt me, but I forgive you. And the promise of the person of the bully or bullies is saying to them, I'm sorry and I will never do it again. And they put it in writing. Mm-hmm. Now there's one other phase of this that needs to be mentioned. Sometimes it doesn't work. And then when it does not work, we have to use a no contact contract. And that can either be verbal or written. If it is verbal, teachers are informed, counselors are informed, administrators are informed, and parents are informed by the school, by me, to let them know that between student A and student B, there's to be no contact. No emailing, no talking, nothing, for a period of time until they can come to one of the counselors or to me or one of their teachers and actually say, we put our differences aside and we can be friends now. So on the written contract, all the parents are also involved, as well as the teachers and the school's administration. And usually for research purposes, those don't last very long either, because in the middle school environment, their personalities change, their attitudes are different, they grow, they become more involved with people, and they get a little to a better place where they can understand that everybody's different. So the mediation process is much more defined in the book. And another thing that we find, if I've got enough time to mention to you, if a school is safe, if the students, if the teachers, if the administration, if the community, and everyone that's involved, all stakeholders in that school, if they perceive that school is safe, then there will be less problems in that school. In other words, there will not be a corridor in that school where there's not an adult that supervises. There won't be sneaky places that kids can go to and do these kinds of things because there is supervision there. The other thing that we have to say about the safe school is we need to understand that everyone that's involved in the teaching process and the learning process needs to understand that they can learn. If a child feels good about himself and he's able to learn, no matter what level he's on, no matter what academic, mental operation he may be given in his life form, he can learn. And if a child feels that they can learn, then they have a better self-concept. One of the problems that creates bullying is the low self-esteem or the extreme high self-esteem. But it's mostly the low self-esteem, and let me pull you down where I am. And so if a child feels good about themselves, that responsibility begins at home, and then it's picked up on from the school. And if that child is making reasonably effective grades and feels happy about their learning process, they are not going to feel like they have to bully someone.
Okay. One of the questions for the mediation process, when the two agree that they will get along, do you follow up?
Yes, we do. Yes, we follow up periodically. I'll usually start out the first week, 5 days. And then they come back in and we say, hey, how are things going? And we discuss the fact that things are moving well, and if they're not, then we want to look at why. But we usually, when I say in the book 90%, what we're saying is when we deal with that child the first time who's been bullied and who is being bullied, they don't come back. They realize the pain that they've caused, and that bully won't do it again. It's a rarity to find that they do it again.
Okay. And when you're in those schools, I guess what grade level is it?
In my particular school, it's 6 through 6, 7, and 8. But this process works in grades 3 all the way up through college.
Okay. So you see the bullying grades 6 through 8 mostly?
Yes, that's where I am, so that's what I see. And this mediation process is a take from an existing mediation process that even states use with problems with other states and countries use with other countries. I have just taken it to a level where it fits in the school's environment. A lot of hard work, a lot of 5 and 6 years worth of planning to get it to a place where it is so effective that many people indicated to me it needed to be put in writing.
Okay. What do you suggest at home? What do you suggest parents do?
What parents can do, and with our society and everybody that's having to work, including oftentimes the mother as well as the father, you have less time that you can spend with the child. But most importantly, spend time with the child. Get a good, solid foundation relationship. Know the difference between good discipline and bad discipline. Just as in a quick example, we had a student who stole the cell phone. The father wanted to kill him. I called the mother and I said, look, he gave it back. He's apologized. It's the first thing we've ever seen him do. Please, under conditions that I would recommend, take him out and take him for a ride. Go buy him an ice cream. Sit down and talk to him and let him know that he can't do this again. But whipping him, taking all of his privileges, well, oftentimes we say, for the next year, you're not going to be able to use your telephone. and 3 days later the kid's back on his telephone, which means that you've violated your entire concept of discipline. Be reasonable in your discipline and use it as an opportunity to establish a better, deeper relationship with your child. It's called communications.
Okay, parents should communicate and be more reasonable.
That's correct.
When it comes to discipline.
That's correct.
Okay. So I want to get your take on the whole Karen, the video on the bus. Were those kids? I'm trying to, figure out, what led to it.
It's hard to say. The bottom line to this is we can't stop all bullying. It's just not possible. We can do things within the school to structure it. We can help our bus drivers be more effective. But a bus driver's got to pay more attention to what's going on in front of him than behind him. It's one of the toughest jobs in the school system to be a bus driver. And bus drivers are good, but they are not disciplinarians while they're driving that bus. So the second point that I would make, when the student who put this on his cell phone and later posted it on Facebook, he was doing that because from every glean of concern that I came up with, it was like, let me show off what is going on with this fat lady on this bus. Let's just let the world see how much fun we're having. Probably because of immaturity, that child did not realize that he had opened up some very serious issues that need to be dealt with in that school system, as it related to the code of conduct, as it related to how you deal with a student who is on a bus. The latest information I have is those students that did the bullying apologized to the lady, and she was apparently overweight. We'd seen pictures, and they had making fun of that. Well, that happens with students too. So anyway, the bus situation, those students are going to be disciplined for, and I think fairly, because of what they've done to this lady and how they have damaged her ego, which goes back to the mediation process.
But they didn't even care, old enough to be your grandmother, but they were just
they didn't
like
care whether they didn't care whether it was placed on YouTube or Facebook. They just thought, man, this is cool. Let's put it on so everybody can see. Apparently, it went viral, but in the negative, not the positive. And the students apparently did not understand the difference. There's where parents come in. They can help students understand this is acceptable, but this is not. And we need to open that door at home. The school can't do it all by itself. We have to have the support of the parents. We have to have them involved. We have to have a support structure if we're going to have a safe, effective school. Parents have to be involved in the learning process.
Wow. And so that video opened up a lot of doors, and now parents are now seeing what's really going on. And now they really can address it and really need to address it.
Yeah, I think it goes back to parents, but you can't leave out the teacher, because we are still in loco parentis. That means we're parents when they're with us at school. And we have that obligation to service those kids and help them learn not just math and reading. We've got to help them learn things about dealing with other people effectively and how to do that. Forgiveness and knowing how to say I'm sorry and really mean it and sticking to it, and learning the concept of love and appreciation and realizing that everybody's not perfect, including the bully.
Well, I even when I was in school, I really think that they've taken a lot away. So now so much the teachers can only do so much as far as discipline. You think the students just laugh. Teachers can't do anything basically to discipline a student.
Well, that depends on the system, and also the state law in Alabama, as I'm sure in other states, requires each system within the state to have an effective code of conduct that actually deals with bullying. And each school has the option of developing that, and we've developed our concept, which I just described, and as I said previously, it has turned out to be very effective. And I work directly with the administrators get a tremendous amount of support from my principal. You know, I've been there and done that, and I've seen some other tragic incidences that occur over the years as my principalship. You don't have time to hear about those, but bullying just didn't start 4 years ago. It was going on 20, 25 years ago, and I saw it then. And it didn't make me feel very good when I saw it then either.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw it in school too, so
Right.
it a long time ago. Okay, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I have a website,
Okay.
and it's been hit quite frequently over the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. If anyone would like to see or glean more information, the website is www.larry, L-A-R-R-Y, .vines, V-I-N-E-S,
Okay, I
at
mentioned that.
stopbullyingprocess.com. It's a lot of interesting information on those 5 pages that I have for that website.
Okay.
You want to hold the book?
Yeah, I'll get some good shots of it.
Okay.
What I'll do now.